So, good evening, everyone. I am going to tackle about the miscellaneous provisions. So, Section 20, Certificate for Quarantine Cargo. When cargo manifested for any port in the Philippines is retained on board the importing vessel by order of the quarantine officer or any other officer authorized to issue such order, the customs inspector or on board after verifying said cargo shall make a certificate of constructive lading as to the bill of lading. In Section 21, Use boarding watercraft, the customs senior boarding officer shall not permit anyone to go with the customs boarding watercraft upon departure from pier except customs inspectors and customs guards duly assigned to vessel to be boarded. Section 22, Baggage Declaration and 3. Baggage declaration properly accomplished by ENCO in passenger shall be presented to the customs inspector on board or to customs examiner or appraiser upon boarding of the vessel. In Section 23, vessel clearing for foreign ports applying for bunkers, the customs inspector on board of a vessel clearing for foreign ports and applying for bunkers shall require the master thereof to transmit together with his application the usual affidavit containing the following: first, name and nationality of vessel; second, amount of fuel oil available on board for its propulsion at time of entry; 3. Vessel's daily consumption of oil at sea; 4. Vessel daily consumption of oil in port; 5. Ports of call during the voyage and duration of vessel stay at each port and die; 6. The amount of bunkers applied for. In Section 24, Unloading of cargo by distressed vessel, a distressed vessel in port desiring to unload cargo for the duration of the vessel so thereat may be issued a permit to discharge her cargo upon written request of the master or agent approved by the collector of customs under such terms and conditions he may deem proper, if the cargo's discharge will be cleared or entered by the port where they are discharged. The unloading of this class of cargo shall be subject to the same rules and regulations prescribed for cargoes destined or the port. In Section 25, ship's mail shall be examined as they are being tacked from the ship, and all mails and addressed to person other than the agents of the vessel shall be delivered to the mail clerk. In Section 26, laborers and ship's laundry, all stevedores, laborers, and other persons of similar status shall be thoroughly searched by or under the immediate supervision of the customs inspector on board upon their leaving the vessel. In Section 27, seizure, the customs mm, in Section 27, seizure, the customs inspector or customs guard making seizures shall deliver to the owner or the claimant, and if unclaimed, the master of the vessel, a receipt describing the articles seized. In Section 28, arrest, upon searching a vessel or any person on board thereof, the customs inspector or customs guard on board is authorized and required to search, arrest, and even detain comfortably with law any found committing act or acts contrary to law. In Section 29, small boats alongside vessels, small boats authorized by the PPA to engage to engage in ferry services may be permitted to come alongside the vessel. In Section 30, customs guard for vessel along, lying alongside. A customs guard shall be detailed by the customs inspectors on board of a vessel when another vessel is lying alongside, whose duty shall be to see that no contraband articles or merchandise is passed for one vessel to the other. In Section 31, have, having anchor and sail, upon receipt of a notice of clearance, the customs inspector on board shall allow the vessel to have anchor and sail. In Section 32, repeal of vessel equipment, equipment, upon the filing of a bond under guard, Section 105 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended, guaranteeing their re-exportation and approved by the Collector of Customs. In Section 33, conversion of vessel as status A from foreign to coastwise, vessel of foreign status may be converted coastwise status after the following requirements are fully complied with and submitted to: 1. Certificate from the concerned office of the Bureau that import entry had been filed and duties and taxes had been paid and or secured to be paid. Number 2, certificate of conversion issued by the Maritime Industry Authority. Number 3, certificate from the Chief Pearson Inspection Division and Chief Base Service Section or their equivalent offices with the Enforcement and Security Service, or in short ESS, as member of the searching team. And 4, certification from the shipping agency as attested by the customs inspector on board that all foreign cargoes are fully discharged from vessel. Number 5, inventory list of ships, stores and salons and crew declaration list shall be duly accomplished, signed by the master of the vessel and attested by the customs inspector on board. B. From coastwise to foreign, vessel of coastwise status may be converted to a foreign status subject to the following requirements: 1. Certificate of conversion issued by the Maritime Industry Authority. 2. Duly processed export declaration permits. In Section 34, letters to collector, the customs senior boarding officer shall collect all letters in the vessel possession addressed to the collector of customs and transmit them without delay to the customs house. In Section 35, refuse and garbage, no refuse garbage and the like shall be thrown or disposed inside any harbor, more especially while the ship is alongside piers. In Section 36, firearms and care and use. Firearms care and use. Care should be exercised in the use of firearms. The unnecessary display of firearms is prohibited. In Section 37, instruction relative to discharging, withdrawal, and loading of empty container. 1. Discharging of an empty container, the shipping agent prior to discharge container shall furnish the customs container control. Number 2, withdrawal of empty containers. The shipping agent concerned shall present letter request to the Chief Customs Container Control Division. Number 3, loading of empty container. Prior to the loading of empty containers on board carrying vessel, the shipping agent concerned shall apply for a special permit to load. Prior to the loading of empty containers on board carrying vessel, the shipping agent concerned shall apply for a special permit to load. In short, SPL, in a letter application made for that purpose of the Customs Container Control Division. In Section 38, instruction relative to the withdrawal of containerized export. Number 1, withdrawal of containerized export goes all application for the withdrawal of containerized export cargo shall be directly filed by the chief or its equivalent office. In Section 39, shifting of cargoes, shipping agent shall submit is a written request for shifting of cargoes to the office of the Chief Peers and Inspection Division, which turn shall recommend its approval to the Deputy Collector for Operations. In Section 40, defining shipping and staffing, consignee shall submit a written request for defining shipping and staffing to the Office of the Chief Peers and Inspection Division. In Section 41, direct to truck transfer, for direct transfer of container cargo from vessel to truck, concerning customs broker shall submit a written request to the Office of the Chief Peers and Inspection Division or equivalent office, which in turn shall recommend its approval to the Deputy Collector for Operations. In Section 42, overtime permit, all requests for overtime work by peers and inspection division or its equivalent office personnel other than those regular activities mentioned in this manual shall be recommended by the chief peers and inspection division. In section 43, discharging of vessel sludge. All requests for discharging of vessel sludge shall be recommended by the chief peers and inspection division or its equivalent office and approved by the Deputy Collector for Operations. In Section 44, bunkering permit, all requests for vessel bunkering refueling shall be recommended for approval by the Chief Peers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office to the Chief Port Operations Service AOCG. In Section 45, leisure racing yacht yacht. The boarding formalities shall, as far as practicable, apply to leisure crafts, yacht, foreign fishing vessel, and local fi- fishing vessels from abroad. Harbor regulations related to customs, vessel entering port. 1. All vessels any port of entry or coastwise in the Philippines shall show their colors and signal their official numbers or letters, and such signal shall be keep flying till the vessel is boarded by the proper officials. For number 2, when mail is to be discharged, the vessel shall inform the port authorities by the prescribed signal at the earliest opportunity. B. Flag signal or calls. At the Philippines ports of entry signals will be responded to and from the customs house or pilot signals tower. Number 2, the following signals or calls shall be used in all Philippine ports of entry. A. Customs International Code flags E and I. At night, 3 or 4 short blasts of whistle and waving of light. B. Quarantine International Code flag at the 4. C. Pilot International Code flag G or PT at night. 1. The pyrotechnic light, commonly known as a blue light, every 15 minutes. A bright white light flashed or shone at short frequent intervals just above the hull. 3. The signal fishing light. C. Quarantine requirements that illness or accidents involving physical to any person on board a vessel in a harbor shall be at once reported to the Collector of Customs at the quarantine officer. D. Repair, dry docking of vessel, no repairs except minor ones shall be allowed on every vessel in port without the permission of the Collector of Customs or Deputy Collector for Operations, as well as its transfer to designated place of dry docking. E. Sunken vessel, whenever the navigation of any harbor or navigable river, tributary thereto shall be obstructed by any sunken vessel, boat, watercraft, or other similar obstruction has existed for a period longer than 30 days or whenever abandon can be established in a less space of time. F. Lighter tugs and other watercrafts lighter shall not be tied or removed from a line side a vessel without permission of the customs inspector on board such vessel. G. Authority performed by customs officer. 1. Customs officer have the power to arrest within harbor limits regulations and persons committing crimes or breaches of the peace. 2. Any person who assaults, resists, opposes, or interferes in any manner with a customs officer in the discharge of his duty shall be liable and subject to the penalties prescribed of law. Each rat guards when any vessel of foreign Philippines registry is it any dock pier where such vessel shall take proper precautions to prevent the passage of radans to or from the vessel. 2. The master of any vessel of foreign registry of Philippine registry engaged in foreign trade with whether lying alongside a pier, dock, wharf of bulkhead or in the stream shall have suitable rat guards placed on all lines between idle lighters or small boats or other carriers of the vessel. Other special anchorages, likewise all other boats and watercrafts, are prohibited to anchor or linger around any vessel, whether moored at a pier or anchored in the harbor at a distance of less 50 meters from said vessel, unless especially authorized by the collector of customs. J. Regulations. 1. No empty lighters of carrier shall lie at night alongside a Philippine government pier or alongside a vessel moored there. 2. Nor shall empty lighters. 2. Empty lighters or carriers alongside or attached to such pier or vessel during daytime shall be removed thereto room before nightfall. 3. The provisions contained in paragraph 1 and 2 above hereof shall not apply carriers partially laden with import or export cargo or to empty carriers. 4. Any vessel or the watercraft in the Philippine harbor shall, when a case of sickness occurs on board, immediately hoist the regulations quarantine flag. That would be all for the miscellaneous provisions. Thank you.